Going to go for two here.
He's going for two.
If you don't make this, you lose. If you make it, you're in the position to win.
Got him! One-handed catch as he goes up and gets it.
Going to go for two here. Go for two here.
Got him! One-handed catch as he goes up and gets it.
Okay, welcome in, guys. Going for two, presented by Toboggan Brewing Company. We're drinking our beers. And in memory of 22 years ago today, Stone Cold Steve Austin drove a beer truck into a wrestling ring to spray the McMahons and The Rock with, I believe it was Budweiser. It wasn't Toboggan back at the time because they didn't exist.
Coors Light.
Was it Coors Light?
Mm-hmm.
Well, good for him. But let's all have a sip of beer for that, because that's a crazy shout out. That we all know that guy's our patron saint for the show. Liam came up with that. So today we're going to go over a lot of different things. We got more free agency stuff. Everyone's March Madness bracket is lit on fire and thrown in the garbage. Yeah, just complete trash.
How did Liam end up doing with that one? Because I know he was off to a real hot dinger of a start.
Liam started 1-0, and he got, I think he said that he was in first place, and I think that was about it, right?
No, I think there was at one point there where you were like in second or third or something like that for quite some time. So good for you, Liam. Shooting in the dark, right?
Oh, okay. Okay.
Not bad.
Better than nothing.
I haven't even won 26 games yet combined.
Yeah. Well, we're on the topic of March Madness. So we'll start there. I was going to save it for later, but we might as well start there. So absolutely crazy. Chad, who's been in our bracket right now? It was
yes.
Devin's winning.
but
Steven's probably Steven's the most projected.
Points.
Yeah, so shout out to those guys. I mean, everyone else is like, I'm toast. My whole
How
final
were
four.
were there any ghost bets? We thought there was maybe somebody doing some ghost bets, weren't there? Like
What do you
doing double accounts?
Oh yeah, well the one guy put in a bracket for his girlfriend, or his girlfriend put in a bracket, but I don't know.
And how did she do?
I have no
Okay.
idea.
I think she's doing worse than me.
Yeah, on these things, if you put in multiple brackets, you're just gonna do worse because you're gonna just overthink it. But yeah, I'm gonna come out and say it. I told you guys that the Big 10 and the Big 12 were the two best conferences for basketball this year, and wow, I was wrong.
Yeah, no, it was pretty funny because you made fun of Chad last week. I had no Big 10 or whatever in his final 16. You're like, and this donation brought to you by Chad.
Yeah,
And here we are.
I also had no Pac-12 in there, and they're all there.
Yeah,
So,
and after you made fun of them ruthlessly for being bad at basketball. We just got to keep this trend up, guys.
Yeah, Kaylin, we haven't even got on you yet. Eh? Like I put Texas to make the finals. And Abilene Christian takes them out round one.
Yeah,
See you, wouldn't want to be ya.
Mm-hmm.
That was a tough one, but hey, it was a good game. It was an entertaining game. I don't know if you watched it or not, but let me give you the Power 5 records for all the top conferences, and let's see if this is maybe something that we would have projected. The Big 10, 6-7. And this, keep in mind, this Michigan game is on, and LSU is going to beat them, so they're about to be 6-8. ACC is 3-5. The Big 12, 7-5. The SEC, 5-3, and then the grand old Pac-12 is 7-0, including Oregon winning against Iowa today.
Oh my gosh.
I don't even know what to think of it. I mean, I did say that USC and Colorado were going to be the teams to watch out for. But I didn't. I'm not even going to pretend like I anticipated any of this. I thought maybe Sweet 16 teams, but we got a team called Oral Roberts that, I mean, no one's ever heard of them, and they took out Ohio State and Florida.
Yeah, and then it's a damn shame that we lost probably the best basketball player in the country. Guy, he didn't even make it into the Sweet 16, right? That's brutal.
I'm talking, Kaylin. I don't want to talk about it.
Does that one really hurt you in your bracket, Chad?
Chad had them winning. Yeah, Chad had them winning. So
that was my champion.
That was a tough one.
I was excited to see what this generational talent is supposed to be like, and I guess now he's just going to be hitting the weight room. So, damn.
The unfortunate part of this, like all these tournaments, and like this goes back like years and years, the best player in the tournament generally is out in the first round. Like you remember Kevin Durant, because you're a Texas. Oh, Texas is always out in the first round, but Kevin Durant was supposed to be
Whoa.
like, he's the next guy. He's the next guy. And obviously he is the next guy now in the NBA. But
Yeah.
I think they were a 2 seed when they got rolled when he was there, right? And he went out in the
Yeah.
first round. Did he not?
Yeah, they've had some fun teams though. Remember when they had all those Canadians? I know I'm kind of hovering on the Texas right now, but remember they had all those Canadians? That was fun, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I also remember when they had Shaka Smart as their coach, but that's not going to be reality anymore. There's no way.
Oh,
There's no way they're bringing that guy back.
stop it. I think he gets another opportunity. COVID shortened year.
Hmm.
Mm.
I don't know, man. They're not very patient down there in Texas.
Tell me about it.
Yeah,
Man.
talk about that football program. I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
There's
They've been
so
trying to
much
chase
red on
somebody
my
since
bracket.
Mac Brown left. Sorry,
Yeah.
red. Yeah. Oh my
I'm looking at
god.
my bracket right now, and it's like I wrote an essay in high school. Nothing but red ink.
Well, let me tell you why. Like, there was at least a 110 seed, 111, 112, 113, 114, and 115 that all won in the first round.
Mhm.
Never happened before. Also, the most wins between 13 or lower seeds has also happened in this tournament. So it's already mind blowing. So I want to ask you guys, because I was thinking about it and I was like, what in the hell's going on? But the fact that they can't practice and hang out with each other, the smaller schools that are taking this maybe a little bit more serious, is that giving them a competitive advantage and not having fans there? As well, I mean, there's some fans, but not enough to alter the atmosphere.
I think it goes back to coverage. If you're looking at the small schools, they have the ability to go back and look at film from multiple angles because those big schools are on TV. And it's not that these smaller schools aren't on TV, but they certainly, I say certainly, but they probably don't have the 12 different camera angles to kind of zone in on and use and study film with, right? So
Right.
I think that's really what it is that the smaller school teams are have the ability to kind of watch more film and be more in depth with these bigger school teams, and they're taking it to them. That's all it is.
Yeah. Chad, like, what do you like? How do you think that your football team would fare if you guys couldn't practice and you had to do your individual studies and like nobody could like watch film together?
Oh, it's really tough, right? These smaller schools, the campuses are
I
probably a
can't
lot
put you on the
smaller
spot
as
like that.
well.
Actually, I can't put you on the spot like that. How do you think hypothetically a football team would do if they couldn't practice and they couldn't do film study as a team?
Well, I think it's tough for like a lot of these bigger schools because these campuses are massive. There's the school's massive. They're probably not in classes sitting with their guys.
Mhm.
Opposed to these smaller schools, they probably are smaller campuses or with them all the time. They could be in each other's bubble for all we know, right?
Right.
But on top of that, like kind of what Kaylin sort of touched on with like the camera angles of the bigger schools, all that. What I'm wondering more is these schools now are, without insulting them, they don't play in front of anybody. So only having 1,000 people there, that's a normal thing for them. You
Right.
go from a school like Oral Roberts or from Loyola Chicago, you drop 80,000 people at the fucking Lucas Oil Stadium. I don't care who you are. That changes things.
Without a doubt.
And so now when they don't have those things, if you're down 6 points, you're only down 6 points. You're not down 6 points with 80,000 people ripping on you. And so you
Yeah.
have to make the next basket to
Yeah.
get back in the game. Like you're not making stupid plays, stupid shots because you're still playing basketball. You're still playing a game.
Yeah. Like
And you're in your own comfort zone.
I've been in Lucas Oil Stadium for the Sweet 16. It was Michigan State and Duke and Louisville and somebody. It was the year that Louisville won. It was a few years ago. And like it was packed, and the atmosphere was nuts. They're just like you're saying, like there just is no atmosphere in the games, and I think that we're seeing it. The good team or these mid-major schools, like I guess Ohio's getting crushed by Creighton right now, so they're not a great example. But some of these small teams, they just got on a run, and like we'll use the Oral Roberts game from yesterday. Florida just couldn't capitalize on. They continued to get the ball back. They just couldn't get it done, and there was nothing. Like Oral Roberts was playing with the house's money. What difference does it make to them? They lose to Florida, they're heroes. They beat Florida, they're legends. I mean,
Mhm.
how do you lose there?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, do you guys have a favorite to continue on with this? Chad, you told me I know you're not really watching it anymore.
All I gotta do was you almost quoted the Sandlot there.
Did I? How close was I?
Heroes last forever, but legends never die.
Yeah. Hey, that's our new Oral Roberts T-shirt that we're gonna get made.
Loyola Chicago. They're still in it, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm just gonna cheer for them then. They got a funny name and they beat Illinois. That's
Yeah,
huge.
they beat Oklahoma State, so fuck them.
And they beat Oklahoma State and Illinois. My God, man, I'm definitely cheering them on.
No, Oregon State beat Oklahoma State.
Oh, okay, Oregon State. Okay.
Sorry, there's a lot of
Yeah.
red in my bracket right now.
It
It's hard to
was
follow.
the Pac-12. Chad was trying to dodge the Pac-12 again.
Oh,
But yeah, I mean, like, I think, like, I watched the game last night. I think that Houston and Gonzaga look like
whoa! Houston came back. Like, wow, that was scary for a minute though.
But that's the thing; they were able to dig deep. Some of these other teams weren't able to do it. I mean,
Yeah.
a team like, West Virginia last night. I thought that West Virginia was one of those teams that had an opportunity to make a Final Four, especially with all these other teams falling. But Syracuse had no problem with them.
Yeah.
And yeah,
I actually had Houston going to the Final Four over Oklahoma State in my original bracket. I changed it.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
Hindsight is 2020, isn't it?
Yeah, I wasn't wearing my glasses.
Hey, these things happen. These things. You know who else wasn't wearing their glasses? This old GM of the Jets, when he was talking about NFL free agency. What a joke! What'd you say his name was? I've never even heard of him, Kaylin. What'd you say his name was again?
Mike
Who gives a shit?
Tannenbaum.
Who gives a shit?
Come
No one cares
on.
about this guy. Let's talk about real free agency. Yeah, I mean, who cares about any of this? And also, have you guys heard anything about the scouting combine? I haven't really paid that much attention. Is there actually going to be one? I know there's pro
No.
days.
You know what's
No,
weird is
they're
that
not.
I've heard more information about the NFL draft than I heard about the combine.
Yeah,
They're not
which is
having a
awesome,
combine.
and I want to touch upon that too. I want to get into that a little bit, just
Mhm.
the format of it. But
Mhm.
I was like, since there is no NFL combine, I was thinking that why don't the four of us have a little combine? Why don't the four of us get out there and do a little? I mean, I could use a little fresh air. I don't know about you guys. Get a little wind blowing on the face.
Oh my God, we're doing a 3-cone, a 40-yard, and a bench press. Is that what we're gonna do?
I'm not sure. I don't know. I thought we were just gonna all see
Try
if we
and
can
kick a
make
ball for the field goal uprights.
Yeah,
Is
let's
that about
let's
it?
do things that we can handle here. We gotta make sure that they're friendly with Liam's rehab as well.
Yeah.
Liam, how
The
is the
only
rehab?
contest I was going to win was the bench press. What the fuck?
Yeah, no, my rehab's good. I'm running, doing squats, working it out already.
Excellent. Well, let's see if we can fuck up your knee at a at a
Yeah.
combine.
Sounds like
So-
Liam just volunteered himself for that event.
Surgery round 2. Here we go.
Yeah. We'll come up with a series of events, and I don't know. I'm sure we could throw some charity on there. I'm just calling you guys out on this because it'd be, I think it'd be some fun to do. So
Sure.
that'll give us a chance to get outside and get a little fresh air with each other, and
Mhm.
we'll try and keep Kaylin out of the Thames so we don't have another O picture that we can post everywhere.
Terrible.
Yeah. Yeah, what a fantastic picture. But yeah,
Mhm.
we'll schedule a time that we can get this done before the draft, and then we'll post it up. We'll see what people think because they're doing crazy things with these TikTok videos nowadays. I think we could probably make a pretty funny one. Yeah, but back to real NFL. Big free agent signing today, Kaylin, with your boy Adoree Jackson. I didn't think he was going to get paid like that for. Based on the fact that he was cut, I assumed that there was some kind of a health issue. I
Yeah.
thought he was going to be on one of those 1 year prove it kind of deals, but 3 years, 40 mil, right? Something along those lines.
Yeah, 3 years, 39 million, 13 million average. It's basically all guaranteed over the first 2 years. Logan Ryan put in the big push for the free agent signing, so they were having dinner together last night. A couple of former Titans. That secondary, guys, it's changed quite a bit over the last 2 years. It went from Janoris Jenkins and Antoine Bethea, James Bradbury, and Jabril Peppers, and now they've got James Bradbury, Adoree, Logan Ryan, and Jabril there. So we'll see what happens. But the Giants fans are hyped. If you're reading all those forums, I mean, they're the winners of free agency right now. I am excited to watch that team offensively. I really am. Like, that is a team on offense with Saquon Barkley being back. Their whole big downfall is going to be the offensive line. That is
Right.
really going to be rough. But
And Daniel Jones.
well, I don't know, man. He's got so many weapons there to throw to now. Like,
Yeah, so
Holiday,
did Baker.
Babytron. Sorry.
So did Baker 1 year.
I guess I'm not gonna really. I don't know if I can really compare Baker and Daniel Dimes to the same player. I think I would prefer to take somebody like Daniel Dimes. Actually, to be honest with you,
Not a chance.
Over
Why?
Baker?
why?
Stop it.
What has Baker proven?
Won
He's
games?
been hand. He had Jarvis. Did he win games or did his defense win the games for him? Because you got
Their
handed
defense was historically bad.
Their defense has not been historically bad. Their defense has actually been okay. I would say that.
Liam, I'm throwing my red challenge flag.
Sure.
Talk to me about the Cleveland Browns defense from last year, because I think that they were
Absolutely.
dog shit. Their secondary was giving up like kilometers at a time.
You're telling me right now you'd have Daniel Jones over Baker Mayfield.
I just don't think that Baker's shown me anything. He's been handed 2 weapons. He's had weapons his entire career while being in Cleveland in some regard, and he hasn't done anything with it. Whereas Daniel Jones has at least shown something in his rookie season. Last year he took a step
With
back.
absolutely nothing.
Well, Sterling fucking Shepard, guys. Let's be realistic. Come on, let's name
Whoa.
the wide receivers that they've had in New. Well, you guys want to come at me hard? I can come
I'm not
back
coming
to
at you hard. I'm just
Golden
asking
friggin'
you a
Tate,
question.
guys. Come on, who fell
Gold-
off of a cliff. Now can we
Golden
name
Tate,
their
yeah.
tight end was Evan Ingram, who made the Pro Bowl last year with 3 touchdowns. Like, he hasn't exactly had people around him to support him. Now
So
he's
he's a
got
Pro Bowl
decent
tight end?
receivers. He made the Pro Bowl because of fan votes, Chad. Come on.
So he has
3
Pro Bowl tight
touchdowns.
ends.
He didn't deserve
I
to
like
make the
Evan
Pro
Ingram.
Bowl.
I
If
like
I was his
Evan Ingram.
agent, I'm giving him pay because he went to the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, I liked him coming out of college too, but he hasn't done anything to show that he deserved it. But he's got
You're
Saquon being
also
back there
playing
is
in the
huge.
dog shit of the fucking NFC.
Exactly. Even more reason for them to have a giant leap forward. You're playing against a team like Philadelphia, who's completely gutted
He's
their
done
roster.
nothing against the dog shit. Like, there's fucking JV programs that can beat some of those.
It's
NFC teams.
astounding how little credit you give that guy with what team he's had in that division for the last 2.5 years. He's had a
I'm
far
not
worse
saying
team.
he should. I'm just saying he's not as good as Baker.
Baker's had a team around him. He's had an offensive line, but it's been ranked in the top 5 for the last 4 years. Daniel
They
Jones
did have a
hasn't
good
had
line, yeah.
Yeah,
Daniel Jones hasn't had a good offensive line his 2 years that he's been there. And losing Saquon, taking that heat off of him and putting it all. What was their running back last year? I remember who was the running back.
by committee.
I think
No,
they
it was
had
fucking the guy from the
Devontae
Titans.
Freeman.
And they had the guy
Devontae
that the
Freeman.
Titans had from New England. What was his name again? He was like their shifty running back. Dion Lewis. Dion Lewis was their starter at week 4, and he was their starter from week 4 to week 7. Like, that's
Yeah,
a lot of pressure to put on Daniel Jones.
Then they got
Like-
Devontae Freeman.
Which was a great pickup, wasn't it? I mean, like, those aren't Saquon Barkley guys. It's like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, it's just a lot to ask of a guy like that. I think this is a team that's poised to take that step forward in that division specifically. Brutal teams.
I'll
I
give you.
don't
I'll bet you $100 right now they don't win the division.
Winning their division and taking a step forward in their division are 2 very,
Well,
very
you just
different
fucking
things. Jack.
crowned them the
You're
fucking
jumping-
Super Bowl
you're-
champion.
Because you're
You-
talking as
you
if he
just
doesn't
paid for
deserve to be
champion
talked about
right
at all.
there.
And I'm talking about that he deserves to be at least spoken about because they have weapons around him. I'm not talking about him winning the frigging division.
Well,
They're
it's a
4
dog shit,
crap
so they
teams
should
there.
win it.
It's a crapshoot.
Hey.
With how
These
good
things
that
happen.
fucking division is, he should win it from everything you just said.
Liam, you got info for us?
Yeah, so points allowed 434, yards allowed 57-35, pass touchdowns 31, rush
And that was
touchdowns
just against the
16.
Steelers. But what about the rest of the league? Yeah. Anyway, I get what you're saying, Kaylin. I understand. That guy will never live down the fact that he fell down on the 20-yard line on Thursday Night Football, and then they blew the game.
Yeah.
I mean, that's people's perception of Daniel Jones right now. Right or wrong, we'll see. But the Giants have a good opportunity to move forward because, with the exception of maybe the Cowboys, the rest of that division is going to stink. But Baker Mayfield is in a much better position, and I'm just going to say that he was probably the first overall pick for a reason. But he's a guy that I wish wasn't in our division. But moving on, Calvin Noye is back with the Patriots.
Did you see how that worked out for them, by the way?
I did not.
They got a compensatory 4th-round pick for losing him when he signed with the Dolphins last year.
Okay.
And then the Dolphins cut him, and they signed him back at a lower deal than he got in Miami in the first place. So they basically just lost Kyle for 1 year, their off year that everybody was off on the Patriots anyway. And then they got a 4th-round pick out of it and got him back the next year. Is
It
that
feels
not
like
the Patriots
tampering,
way?
right? It
It
feels like
does.
tampering.
It's got to be, right?
Yeah.
It's a Patriot thing to do.
Totally is. I think that they hold the record, I think, for compensatory picks since that has been introduced. Like, they have the number 1 for like collectively. They're
Yeah, I
good
think
for 2 a year at least.
them in Baltimore, man, like they're always have like crazy compensatory picks.
And ever since they
Like,
like allowed them to trade, my God.
yeah, like, and I don't even want to make light of this story because it's not a story to make light of, but it almost feels like Belichick has planted all this Deshaun Watson stuff just so he can get Deshaun Watson too. Like, that's such a fucking Patriots thing to do. And like that story is completely out of control. I read an article saying that teams are still very interested pending an
Yeah.
investigation. Like, yeah, no kidding. I mean, we're up to like what'd you say earlier, Kaylin? It was like
13.
13.
You've got 13 with 11 of them being filed so far.
Yeah, which-
Do you think the Giants will get on that?
I doubt it. They already got a good quarterback.
Just checking.
Anyway, yeah. I mean,
But the
who
Jets
knows
might.
who knows what's happening? Yeah, well, I mean, the Jets never know what to do. They've never had a good front office. They've always sucked. But yeah, that's a shot at you, Mike Tannenbaum. Is that what you said his name was?
That's it.
Yeah, who cares? Who else got signed? I guess we probably talked a little bit about the Juju thing on the weekend,
hmm
but
What I think was a little bit interesting was Kenyon Drake going to the Raiders. Them having what's his face, that rookie, the running back there from Alabama, Josh Jacobs.
yeah,
And
but I mean,
Kenyon Drake, he kind of really proved himself in Arizona being an every down back, and now he's relegated himself to being that third down back again. But who knows, in an
Take-
offense like Oakland runs, maybe.
They were
You-
teammates in college.
yeah,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
take take the money, and if they want to use each of you sparingly, then at least like Jacobs was proven to get banged up a little bit, and I think Drake has had a little bit of injury history, and at the end of the day, Drake has really had 1.5 good years in his career. I mean, he was shit in Miami, right? I mean,
Yeah, it
bad
wasn't very
system
good.
maybe for him, but since he moved to Arizona, he was pretty good.
Yeah.
And pair him up with somebody that people think is potentially a guy that could lead the league in rushing. Maybe they're looking at like that dual running back thing, like a running back by committee.
hmm
Uh,
Did you
that
see
makes sense to me.
that Pat Pete came out and said that he signed with the Vikings as a cornerback and not as a safety? Do you think he watched our show or listened to it and heard us talking about it?
I mean, I would imagine that he watches the show because I mean, what else are you going to do in Minnesota?
Yeah.
But yeah, I that's his own fault, really. I mean, we're giving him a way to extend his career and feel like, you know, how he could maybe do his Rondé Barber. I mean,
Mhm.
he's not as good as Rondé Barber, but he could do his best impression of him. If he doesn't want to do that, that's fine. I mean, you're out of the league next year, and see you later. Sorry about
Yeah.
your luck, man.
And then you've got William Fuller, your boy Fuller. He signed down there
Miami.
with Miami, right? Yeah. So that'll be an interesting get the speed. Now, how long is his suspension for? I thought he was
He's
still
got-
suspended for a few games into the season, but somebody told me today it was just
He
one.
No, just it was only 6 games that he got.
Yeah,
So he still has one game left, though, right? This year, I think the first game of the season he's out for.
is that right? I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I think
didn't
he
know-
still has like one.
I
left or
didn't know
something like that.
NFL suspensions carry over, so that's a thing. Cool.
I
had
thought
no
that was a
idea.
hockey thing. Yeah,
And then you've got like Philip Lindsay that signed with Texans too. The Texans made a lot of changes, man. They made a lot of moves. You see, they restructured Tunsil's contract. So clearly the GM looked at Bob's paperwork and said, "What the hell did you do here with this deal?"
well, I mean, the Texans are. I mean, what a dog shit franchise that is right now. And
Yeah, they're in real trouble.
it's unfortunate because I don't know. They seem like they were making a little bit of headway. Even at 8-8, they were used to be able to win that division because that division was always trash. But it seems like
Mhm.
it's getting a little bit better. And
Shit.
Division routinely sent 2 people to the playoffs. There, Shane.
routinely,
It was it was usually the Colts and the Texans that were getting sent.
routinely, he says. Give me
And
a
then,
break,
yeah, I'm
man.
telling you. And then you had the year that Jacksonville went to the AFC Championship with Blake Bortles. Remember that?
Yeah, who else was in the playoffs that year? Nobody. Yeah,
Okay.
stop. Like,
Shaq
just-
Griffin went to Jacksonville. That's a positive.
Who did?
Shaq Griffin went to Jacksonville. Missed that guy.
Is that right?
Shaquem
Yeah.
Griffin, yeah. And I think
Oh,
his
yeah,
brother
yeah,
might be
Griffin.
going there too.
Yeah.
We kind of brought we glossed over the Kenny Galladay thing. I mean, we kind of
Yeah.
talked about it when you were sucking Daniel Jakes' penis earlier, but does that not seem like a big deal for a guy of? I mean, is he a proven NFL wide receiver? Absolutely. And this is probably going to make you happy, Kaylin, because we've been coming at you pretty hard for the show. if Galladay's getting 4 for 72, what is AJ Brown gonna get? Because I think Galladay is shit, but AJ Brown is definitely better than him. So
100%.
how much are you guys gonna have to pay this guy to keep him in the building? I don't understand.
That's kind of what I asked about last week when I said, like, are they making those moves to pay him? Like, he deserves it. As much as
Yeah.
I rip on him, the guy he's going to get 18 million.
Yeah.
That's like high end money, yeah.
Oh, it's gonna be around that 85 number. 580 for 85,
I think you're going
kind of
higher than
thing.
that, man. I think you're in the 100.
Ooh,
Yeah.
like a 6-year deal?
I think
5
it's
years.
5 years for a hundo.
Holy hell.
90
Yeah,
guaranteed, or about 65 guaranteed, probably.
Yeah, that feels right.
If there's a receiver in all the years that I've watched the Titans that I'd be willing to bend over for, it'd be this one, I think, though, as far as the contracts.
Oh, we're well aware of your
Where-
feelings towards the man.
You've made it very clear to me.
Historically, we haven't been a team to give out that massive contract, though, outside of quarterbacks sometimes getting it. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
With letting the other two walk, though, it's only that makes sense.
Yeah.
Letting
You've let a
John
lot
and
of
him
money walk,
yeah.
and like you've let a lot of money walk away.
Yeah.
And they let the guys walk on defense. Yeah, I mean, you got Tannehill for how many more years? 2, 3?
Well, we got him for 2 more years after this year coming up. So,
But I would assume that they're gonna like re-up with him, and I mean, maybe Derrick Henry gets into another contract, but it's probably, I don't know, it's probably time to start looking for his successor, whether he plays for another 6 years or 5 years, whatever it is.
yeah.
The way that he plays, it's hard to imagine that he's going to play for another 10 years.
No, not a chance. Well,
He's
you know,
gotta-
we say that, and then you've got people like Adrian Peterson that did that, and Jamal Lewis that did that. People that we always said we're not going to play like their 10, 15-year running back career. Frank Gore,
Yeah.
right? There's
Yeah,
just
but
people that are there's
Frank
certain
Gore and
players
AP
that are
aren't
built
those same
different.
guys anymore, right?
Oh,
you
no,
have to
no, no.
start-
Yeah,
you
I would
start
certainly
looking.
say he's going to hit a wall, absolutely. But I just feel that there's like a few rare running backs that are built different and can do that 10-year, 12-year career.
This is
called
going to make it sound
thoroughbreds.
old. Yeah, this is going to make it sound old, but like they just don't make them like they used to. Like there will never be another Frank Gore again, ever.
Guess we'll have to see, won't we?
yeah, the old baby arm.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. And what do you think about all this talk? I know, I mean, you probably think he's going back anyway, Chad, but AB potentially going to Seattle? You hearing any of this?
He's really where the money is.
Russell's putting in all the work right now to try and get AB there. He wanted him there last year, didn't get him
Yeah.
because he went over to
Till he
Patriots or went to the
fucking-
Bucks and
The back shots on Sierra.
My
Jesus.
God.
No,
Yeah,
he's
I
gonna.
heard that-
want him in Tampa. I want him in Tampa, but like at the same time, like I'm not giving him what he thinks he's gonna get.
Yeah.
Mhm.
If we can get him on a veteran minimum, 100% worth it. He had 40 catches last year. I'm not paying a guy who had 40 catches in that offense more than $2 million because guess what? The next man up's gonna get 40 catches too.
Yeah. Well, it's the guy throwing it, right? And the other thing that I found interesting from that offense, like from the Bucks offense, is did you guys see that the Bills took a run at Gronk?
And they didn't get him.
Well, the Bucks just matched the deal. So
Hmm.
I don't know how competitive the Bills got if they tried to go back and forth with him a little bit, but they took a serious run at him. And I mean, the guy's from Buffalo. I'm surprised that he wouldn't want to finish his career with his hometown team.
It's him and Tom,
Yeah.
man. They're buddies.
That'd be but I mean, he just won another Super Bowl with Tom. I mean, Gronk is the number 2 tight end on the depth chart coming up this year, probably. Would you put Braid above
Mhm.
Gronk right now?
Yeah, I think so. I think OJ Howard's the odd man out.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, we kind of thought that going into this year too. And if he didn't get hurt, I mean, who knows if they would have moved on from him, right? But given the fact, so I mean, I will ask the question different. Liam, are you putting your hand up to talk to me? No. Would you guys want to finish your professional sports career in your hometown? Like, would that be something that's important to you? Assuming that you grew up, like this guy is a Bill, or he grew up in Buffalo. I would assume that at one point in his life he was a Bills fan.
Without
think-
me sounding like the world's biggest homer, so I'm not doing it that way. Would you not want to live in Florida, especially when they're competitive?
Yeah, well,
That's
fair.
exactly what I think. That's exactly it, though. If he's a fan of Buffalo, right? If he grew up in Buffalo, it's most likely that that's his hometown team and it's his favorite team. This is the first time since he was a kid that Buffalo is actually competitive. And could you imagine being the one that like is helping bring that Super Bowl home to Buffalo, and you go off into the sun with your hometown team winning the bowl because you were there part of it
I
when they
don't
were
think
finally
his
competitive?
body can take it.
Yeah,
Maybe
no, I
not.
mean
Yeah, maybe not
he
though.
would.
Yeah,
There would be too much weight put on him, I think, if he went to Buffalo. Like
Oh, I meant the cold.
yeah,
Oh, jeez.
No, I'm not being an asshole. I'm actually being serious. That
yeah.
guy is a
Well,
robotic man.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, he's been through a lot, and he had that year off football, which obviously revitalized him a little bit. He looked like he was a little bit stronger in the playoffs once he kind of got his feet under him.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I mean, it's interesting to think like, would you do that? And I know, I mean, us in London, we don't have an NHL team, but like Joe Thornton went to the Leafs because that was the closest team. Like that was who he grew up cheering for. Um,
Spezza
and
doing the same thing.
yeah, exactly. So I mean, it's hard to say if I would do that or not. I mean, I guess it would really depend on what you're talking about. If your body's not going to hold up, what's the point of going there and being just like a laughing stock of your hometown?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe if he's comfortable in Tampa and whatever. I mean, got to do what you got to do.
Now, if Tom
But
went to Buffalo, I think it's a different question.
yeah, yeah. I mean, that would mean that Buffalo's building a dome because there's no way, there's
Yeah,
no way that he wants to play outside in Buffalo right now.
Yep.
But what about the NFL announcing that the draft is going to be in person this year? They're going to have
Oh.
fans there. They're going to have all the prospects there. Goodell's going to be bro hugging people on stage
I love it.
Yeah.
with a mask on, maybe. I don't know, but yeah, it feels like
Last
I don't know. It's kind of normal again, right?
last year was unique in able to see the inside of the coaches and the GM's houses and see how they operate and stuff like that. And I mean, it was pretty goofy. Being a homer, getting to see Vrabel's kids in the background acting like goofballs with their mullet heads and stuff. I
Wasn't it
think that
Vrabel that had somebody taking a shit in the back of his his
they
draft
thought
picture?
it's one of his
Wasn't it him?
his kids or something, but it was just a reflection of another kid sitting on a chair in the kitchen. But it certainly
Is
looked
that what it
like
was? Yeah.
yeah, it certainly looked like one of his sons were taking a shit in
Oops.
the bathroom. But yeah, no, it was cool insight, but it wasn't what it was. Like we enjoy the draft for the reason that it is, the hype that it is. There's a reason why the draft is done over 4 days. To have that first round and the second and the third the way that actually the second has its own day now, right? Is it not?
Well, maybe
Two
like
and three,
normal.
I
Like
thought.
this year they're doing the first on Thursday, the second on and third on Friday, and then the rest is on Saturday. So I don't know
Oh,
if
they
that's
got rid of the
unique to
Sunday
this year.
altogether.
Yeah, I don't know if that's unique or what, but
Yeah.
it's gonna be interesting.
Well, yeah, it's nice to have it back. It's a
It-
trend in the in the good direction finally. There's normalcy anyway. But realistically, next year, if baseball's having fans, guys, the football's going to have fans. Jerry's already said it. He's going to pack that friggin' stadium. If the other sports are allowing it, he's going to be doing it too.
Oh, it's happening.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So be smart about it. Make sure you're doing all the right shit, but you got to start going down to the right trend, right? So
You're preaching to the wrong crowd, and I hope Kevin in Texas is watching. The guy we sat in on his show. Kevin, be safe, man. People in Texas are nuts. I forget his last name. Kevin, what was it? Kevin Donnan or so? What was it? Chad, you remember?
Good morning,
I don't remember his last name. It was Kevin though.
Chad disappeared. I don't know where he went, but yeah. I mean, as far as the NFL goes, I mean, they're still keeping it pretty entertaining, and I don't know if you guys saw this story, and I'm not going to get too into like the whole nuts and bolts of it, but an old Georgia player played there 2 years ago, went to the Georgia Pro Day, and worked out with the
46
team and the players, and the Steelers signed him.
Oh, really?
The guy ran a 4.3 40, and apparently he looked good. So he's going to be a kick returner and a potential receiver, and you know how they are with receivers. So I mean, we'll see. I mean that's kind of a cool story though.
Mm-hmm.
He last played in college in 2018.
Why did he get removed?
From being at the pro day?
No, like why did he get removed from, or did he graduate and just never got picked up?
No, he was an undrafted free agent, and then he bounced around the league a little bit. But I guess it's pretty common that like people that are looking for a roster spot go to these things to try and get spotted by the GMs, but it's very rare that they turn into actual events. And with the pro days being a little bit more structured and the GMs being a little bit more involved in what they're doing, I guess Kevin Colbert and him started chatting, and we'll see. I mean, it'll be one of those things they talk about in the preseason, and then when they cut him, when they cut him, it won't fucking matter. But I mean,
Are you
If
gonna
he
be
does,
following?
they'll have a movie on Disney Plus.
Yeah. Are you guys following the YouTube kicker destroying?
no.
He was a kicker, I believe, like through high school and a little bit of college, and then he just never really went anywhere. But he's been on YouTube since, like kicking crazy long field goals and showing it off. And I guess he's really kind of honed his game. And this year he's going to try and get drafted or get picked up by a team. McAfee was talking about him a couple of times and knows him pretty well. He's been doing this for 4 or 5 years now, I guess, this YouTube channel. So pretty cool. Like, yeah, it's unique to see that some kid from the outside is, trying to make his shot, even though it's a kicker. Aiden, no offense, kickers are people too, but a little bit easier to make it as a kicker.
He's a weapon.
Yeah.
He is that. Punters are unique. I do think punters are very special people.
Do not go at our boy Aiden on this, even though he decided to not pick Clemson in his bracket.
I said I wouldn't do him dirty like that.
We went ahead and did it anyway. I mean, he made the right pick. Rutgers crushed them, so whatever.
Telling Dabo.
Yeah.
And then speaking of basketball, I guess the only real news in the NBA, if you want to touch about it in the NBA news, is we've got the Ball brothers. They always know how to stay in the news. So you've got Lonzo, who's potentially getting shopped around right now by the Pelicans, which would be and somebody like the Clippers apparently is looking at picking him up, which is a team that we've talked about earlier. You just can't trust. And then you've got LaMelo, the kid what probably was going to be the rookie of the year. He's got a fractured wrist. He still came back and played significant minutes after hurting the wrist, but that night found out that it was fractured and basically said he's probably going to miss the rest of the season. He's going to get a second opinion on it, but it looks like he's more than likely going to miss the season, and that's a damn shame because that kid was really starting to put up some good numbers, and he's really, really fun to watch. I've been able to say that with Charlotte in a while, so.
Well, I mean, I actually one of my favorite players in the NBA right now is on Charlotte. It's Miles Bridges, and not just because he was a Sparty, but because the guy is just like an absolute animal on the court. But unless Ball is getting the second opinion from his dad, the guy's out. The guy's out for the season because
he's done for the season. That's right.
Yeah.
And then I just happened to read today that it looks like Kyle Lowry is not going to be going with the Raptors on their 3-game home trip or a 3-game road trip or something like that because he's tending to family stuff. I'd have to think that there may be something in there, something in the works, guys. He might be getting traded soon.
Philly's the easy suitor for them. I also heard that they're going to move on from Norm Powell because he's supposed to opt out at the end of the year anyway. So it makes sense.
Mm-hmm. So that's about that for basketball. You got LeBron, who's got a high ankle sprain, so he's out for some time, and that coinciding with Anthony Davis being out means that there may be some teams in the West can make up. But what it really means, you've got they're both all-stars that are sitting on the sidelines resting up for the friggin' playoffs. So the West is going to get destroyed.
It's a good update to know that the NBA is still running because I haven't watched it in a few weeks now. So it's good to know. But yeah, I mean, even right now, like hockey is basically my secondary sport because I have been paying a lot of attention to this March Madness because that's the easiest way to, make a little money on Cool Bet. Chad, show us what's up. And I mean, I am curious though. We're just a little bit over halfway through the season. The trade deadline is a few weeks away, so we're not going to dig too deep into trade shit. But I want to know, what is your biggest disappointment from any NHL team this year? Or player, I guess team or player. What's your biggest disappointment of the year?
Go ahead, Chad.
Well, disappointment, I think, is just the letdown of what the Canadian division was going to be as a fan.
Yeah.
I'm not going to
say lots of luster, right?
Yeah, I was pretty excited about it. We had a long talk about it for the season. That really let me down. My biggest surprise, though, would be the Florida Panthers. Like, they're the number one team in hockey right now.
Yeah.
And that's usually where guys would go to retire.
Yeah.
And they're competing, and I think one of the big things is the way Ekpad's been playing. He's honed down. He's the best defenseman there. And I know a couple of years ago they were saying he might be a bust. And now I think he found his home playing with John Q and getting it sorted out. And I think they're a team to watch. They have a goaltender too that could win them some series. And Bobrovsky, he's done it a couple of times in his career.
Yeah.
And they just have guys everywhere, and they're scoring and they're stopping them. People aren't scoring on them. And I think it's crazy that the two best hockey teams right now are in Florida.
Yeah.
And they're in a tough and they're in a
Yeah.
crazy division. Like everyone in that division's good, and they're
Right.
still playing that well.
Right. Well, and that, I mean, that's a great point. I wouldn't have anticipated that Florida was going to be any good. A team that I had a little bit of higher hopes for, and I mean, we've buried them a couple times on here, and probably by me bringing this up, they're going to end up like going on a run and making the playoffs. But the Buffalo Sabres, I mean, they are just absolute shit. They
13 in a row.
currently have 6 more wins than the London Knights do. And the London Knights haven't played since 2019. I don't know. I don't understand how a team that is that loaded with talent, and that could be debated. I understand that, but I do think that they have a pretty talented roster. And man, there's just something's not right there. I know that they've moved on from coaching, they've replaced GMs, they've done this, they've done that, but you have 6 wins. That is not an NHL record. That's pathetic. Like, pull your shit together and grow up.
Yep.
And that team is about to get gutted for the trade deadline, and rightfully so. But I don't like the Devils have been a little bit surprising for you, Kaylin. But like, what else? What else is surprising you out there?
So my biggest disappointment, I'm actually unfortunately going to have to stay on them Buffalo Sabres, not the team. I'm going with Taylor Hall. He's played 29 games and he has 2 goals. You ask why the Buffalo Sabres are not doing pretty good this year? This is a glaring reason as to what the heck's going on down there. If a player like Taylor Hall and the money he got paid to go there, which wasn't a big contract, he wasn't a huge chase free agent because he had already kind of shown what he was the last time he was in New Jersey and what he did with Arizona, but he still got paid a decent amount of money to go to Buffalo, and he's done nothing with it. He's shown absolutely nothing since his MVP season, but this is absolutely by far his worst season ever. Watching him he fumbles the puck. He looks like a loose cannon out there on the ice. He was always fast, and he was always kind of like, jittery with the puck, but like he just doesn't even look like the same player anymore. And that I think is the true identity of what we've seen out of Buffalo. Every single player, when they're on the ice, they look like they're being outmanned by every single player. It doesn't matter if you're the first line against the checking line of the other team. I know not all hockey lines are like that anymore, but even if you have a team like that, it seems like they're still getting outmanned. They're being outplayed. Terrible. It's brutal. God awful. So that's my biggest disappointment. Taylor Hall, if he gets chased in the trade deadline, teams are just chasing a name at this point. They're not chasing any type of player. They're chasing a shadow of a player.
So you don't believe in like the change of scenery kind of guy?
He's had his change of scenery, right? I mean, like that first and foremost, the Devils went all in that last year that he was there. Now that they signed some players that didn't pan out, but they were highly sought out for free agents and good trades that at the time were reflected to be good trades and good value. He didn't do anything with them. They shipped him to Arizona to go play with Phil Kessel. He didn't do anything in Arizona. Now he's in Buffalo. He's got some young talent around him. And like I said, man, he looks really, really bad out there. Like he doesn't even look like anywhere near the top tier talent that we expected out of Taylor Hall before. Defense has always been suspect, but his offense is brutal. He can barely get past the line carrying the puck anymore, it seems. So I don't think any change of scenery is going to help that guy at all.
All right. Well, I mean, interesting to see. And us, we're all about dropping teasers and dropping little hints of what we're working on. And the other 2 guys aren't going to know what we're even talking about here, Chad. But we are currently in talks with somebody to come on the show that has won the Masters.
Excuse me?
Yeah. So
are we not? You're not going to drop a name?
Hey! We're not dropping names. Chad and I were doing a little bit of our rounds on the weekend.
Wow.
And we came across an opportunity, so stay tuned because things are only looking up, and as we're thinking about it, our golf tournament's being worked on. So yeah, I mean, big things, man. Big things are going on. Yeah. I'll tell you off air who we're talking to, but yeah, keep paying attention. Yeah. But anyway, boys, unless you got anything else to chat about, we'll say cheers, and we'll pick up later on in the week.
Cheers.
Cheers,
Cheers,
boys.
guys.